at least. Wednesday's mock draft day around these parts, and we will absolutely dive into ours a little bit later on in the program, Tone. I feel like I am learning a little bit more about the positions that, at least to me, have depth. Who knows? Maybe I'm picking bad guys in the fourth round every single time. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But it just based on, I'm a little bit more educated, I think, this year about the depth of the draft, some of the guys that might be targets for the Jags in the middle rounds, which is great because the Jags have a lot of draft capital in those middle rounds with 2/3, 2 fourth-round picks, or when I do a mock draft, maybe 7 or 8 of each. By the time I'm done trading back. Only 2 trades. Was it a trade-heavy week for you?
0 trades.
0 trades.
Yeah.
All right. Dylan, what about yourself? Good morning, young man.
Good morning. I had a first-round trade.
You did. I had 2 in the first round. I find myself not trading after the first round, and I find myself out of principle rejecting everything the Texans send me and then coming back over the top and asking for all their future draft picks.
Yeah, there were a couple trade offers in the 5th and 6th round that was moved down one spot, that kind of thing, but I was like, what's the point? At this point, what's the point of trading from here? But yeah, wound up not moving around at all.
Tony, let's pick up. You took Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Let me ask, just before you go through the rest of it, did you like the way the draft fell to you after taking Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. I was good with it. In the second round at 36, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan.
Ding, 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 ding.
There's the nose tackle here to Jacksonville,
ding,
right?
Ding, 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 ding.
In the third round, I learned how to pronounce his name because I drafted him. At the 70th pick, offensive lineman Marcus Bowe. It's got that silent M.
The silent M.
At the beginning of it, out of Purdue. It's played as both a guard and a tackle. Hasn't played guard since 2022, but the talk right now is that teams like him more as a guard prospect than they do as a tackle prospect. So went with that there at the first pick of the third round. Then at 88, safety Sebastian Castro out of Iowa, more of a box safety type.
Yeah.
Here to Jacksonville.
It's a little smaller, right?
A little bit smaller.
I feel like I know things about guys that I would never have known about in the past.
A little bit smaller, but he is a playmaker.
He's like 5'11". Yeah. Because I considered him at a certain point in my mock as well and ended up going a different direction.
Yeah. Then in the fourth round at 106, took edge rusher Josiah Stewart out of Michigan. Third rusher, I saw him compared to Azeez Ojulari as the direct player comparison on a player profile.
Sign Azeez Ojulari in free agency.
Yeah. I have no problem with that. His size is really the question mark. With Josiah, he's listed at 6'1", 245. So he's probably too small to be a pure defensive end.
At that range, though, you're looking for your third guy.
Right, looking for your third guy. He's more like a stand-up outside edge kind of guy, would be more what he profiles as. But again, he was an effort guy, and everything that I read about him, just all out all the time when he's on the field. Also, my second, fourth-round pick of 125, running back Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. 1 year as a starter last year at Tennessee, nearly 1,500 yards rushing, 22 rushing touchdowns, and was selected as the 2024 SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Fifth round at 143, tight end Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. More of a balanced kind of all-around guy. Sixth round at 184, cornerback Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. Can play inside or outside. Then in the seventh round, wide receiver Deion Burks out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I've looked at Parrish in a number of mocks as well. I had 2 similar to you. Kenneth Grant at the exact same pick as you. I had Dylan Sampson, and instead of at 125, I took him at 143, which, again, overwhelming depth at running back. Yeah. This year. Dylan, what'd you do after the first round?
Walter Nolan at 11. 36, went with Trey Amos, so I went Ole Miss back-to-back. I traded back one spot with Dallas, so it went from 43 to 44. Got the offensive tackle from Arizona. I'm probably going to say this wrong. Jonah Savina.
That's the guy that Chad Ryder talked up. Okay. He said at the Shrine Bowl stood out to him, and he actually mocked him with, I want to say, the 30th pick in his mock. So, yeah, go ahead.
All right. Then at 70, I got Barrett Carter, linebacker at Clemson. 88 went Jalen Reed, safety out of Penn State. 106, Jared Wilson, the center from Georgia. 125, another person that Chad Ryder talked about, Kobe Bryant, the DB, the what is it, 190, 170? He's
170.
170, yeah, skinny guy. 143, Raheem Sanders, the running back out of South Carolina. 184, Tonka Hemingway, the D tackle out of South Carolina. 223, Brady Cook, the quarterback out of Missouri. And one of the trades I went back on, I had 249, Damian Martinez, the running back out of Miami.
All right, you're just a thought on the linebacker you took in the third round, right? Is he like a rush linebacker? What was your thought process?
Honestly, there was nobody else of value that I wanted, that was even of interest. And I was like, all right, let me just go with a linebacker here. Because I didn't want to take a linebacker there, but every other position that I kind of wanted to key in on was not. There was no value there.
All right, fair enough. That's what Dylan was able to pull out. Ripping out a 7-round mock over Pro Football Network. I told you I traded back twice, 2 big moves back in the first round, 5 to 18 and then 18 to 28, picking up along the way 50, 60, and 82. So, look, I'm a fan of this. I really am, Tony. This trading all the way down to the end of the first round, and people are going to say, there are only so many elite players. Some of those guys that we think are the, quote, elite dozen or 13 or however many they come up with the number on are not going to turn out to be better than some of the guys that go after him. I don't love Will Johnson enough from what I know about him now until I see him coming off an injury, performing at the combine, showing he's got the speed to be worthy of a top 5 pick, that I'm not willing to pass up on him and look for corner elsewhere. So that's what I did in the first. Took Jahdae Barron out of Texas. Told you I took Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. And I was eating with the big boys here. Went Donovan Jackson, the Ohio State guard, at 50. Plug and play, walk right in. Now, he played tackle a lot in college, but that's the wave this year. There are a lot of collegiate tackles that are moving inside, right? So, anyway, I took him. Here's what Donovan Azaraku, the edge rusher from Boston College. There are mixed opinions about him.
Yeah, I had him in mind a couple weeks ago.
I took him at 60. Now, Chad Ryder had him in the first round. PFF has him as their 35th overall player. If you look over at Pro Football Network, they have him rated much lower than that. So I'm trying to split the difference a little bit. It's hard. Still, I got to be a little bit more disciplined about passing up certain guys like Gray Zabel, who I couldn't resist at pick 70. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to last there anymore.
He was available to me at 70, and I said I'm not.
Yeah, and again, so whether it's him, Tate Ratledge, there are interior offensive linemen that can be had in that range. So if you don't like the idea of taking Gray Zabel there because it's becoming more unrealistic, substitute him for another big boy on the line of scrimmage.
Which is what I did.
Exactly.
Marcus Bowe, yeah.
Yeah, and he was, I think, he might have actually gone ahead of Zabel in the mock that I did. He has moved up because I remember at one point I took Bowe in the 7th round. I'm like, this is crazy, right? And it is. It's turning out to be crazy. All right, so in the 3rd, Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end, and Jack Besh, the TCU wide receiver, with picks 82 and 88. Malachi Moore, the Alabama safety, at 125. Dylan Sampson, who you had at 125, I took at 143. And Savion Jones, the edge rusher out of LSU, a little bit raw, might be a tweener, but you're getting him with the 184th pick here. So you're in the 6th round. He's 6'6", 280, so he's not ideal defensive tackle size. Is he a little big to be a rush end? I don't think he's too big to be a rush end. Not quite refined. PFF actually ranks him a lot higher than that, but Pro Football Network has him a lot lower than that. And I try to split the difference. And with the idea of loading up on the line of scrimmage, again, I got 2 offensive linemen, 1 D tackle, 2 edge rushers. So 5 guys on the line of scrimmage out of 10 picks, and then 1 each at corner and safety. And on offense, I went running back, wide receiver, and tight end with 1 selection each. And I feel fantastic if they could, even if you could take Gray Zabel out of this draft and take that pick out entirely, and I'd feel pretty good about that, because I feel like Barron would be a day 1 starter. I feel like Grant would be your nose tackle, at least that's why you're drafting him at 36. And I feel like Jackson would be your starting right guard, not knowing what is going to happen in free agency and roster management before we get there, obviously. And then you got guys like Arroyo and Besh as developmental weapons for Trevor Lawrence. So, it's fun mocking. It's probably, maybe I need to be just next week, do what the board allows me and not trade around, because I feel like I'm getting good value. But again, if you're going to move up from 18 to 5, you are going to pay through the nose. Now, would Seattle make that move from 18 to 5, not needing a quarterback necessarily. I don't know if they would, but somebody might. Like I could absolutely see if one of the top 2 quarterbacks falls to number 5, somebody coming, whether it's Pittsburgh or somebody else coming from the 20s and jumping up and saying, okay, let's make a deal. And if you're going to drop that far out of that so-called premium tier, you got to pay through the nose. So I like the idea of accumulating that. I picked up the 50th, swapped 106 for 82, and got 2 picks next year. So I like the stockpile.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.